protests over the hijab have intensified and spread across different parts of Karnataka. Instances of stone pelting have been reported from Bagalkot, Shivamogga. There is a heavy deployment of police across several Karnataka colleges. This is an unprovoked series of protests against hijabs, with incidents of violence intensifying. With the High Court having heard the case, the High Court has appealed for peace. The Chief Minister has said that all schools and colleges will now be shut for a period of 3 days. The High Court will resume hearings at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. But the images that you see on your screen really do tell a story. In Shivamogga, that's on the top left-hand side of your screen, stone pelting by a saffron group of students and riot police who were present. Section 144 has been imposed in Shivamogga town till tomorrow midnight. In Bagalkot, top right-hand side, stone pelting by pro-hijab protesters and the police. In Mandya, in the bottom right-hand side, a hijab-clad woman stood up to a saffron group all by herself. And in Udupi, the hijab students' case, in fact, based on their protests, came up in court. The women who are petitioners in this case also plan to have a press conference. At the moment, it's back to normal in the Udupi district. No clash or commotion by saffron or hijab students. In the latest images from the PES college in Karnataka, as you can see here, a woman is being heckled by several students wearing saffron shawls. She holds her ground while there are saffron flags being brandished all around her. She shouts back, Allahu Akbar. The High Court is hearing petitions filed by 5 women from a government college in Udupi questioning hijab restrictions. That will take place again tomorrow. Let's just play this video out again so that we can listen in on what happened. Well, the hijab protest began last month at the government girls' PU college in Udupi when 6 students alleged that they had been barred from classes for insisting on wearing the headscarf. Right-wing groups in Udupi and Chikmagaluru objected to Muslim girls wearing the hijab to class. Meanwhile, the Karnataka High Court has been hearing the case that will be heard once again tomorrow. They are requesting, the judge has requested students and the public to maintain peace, have full faith in the wisdom and virtue of the public is what the court said, appealing for peace. Again, that case will be heard once again tomorrow. It is based on petitions raised by Muslim women students saying that they want to go back to their classes for their education wearing hijabs, and that there should not be any effort at trying to prevent that. But that's exactly what is taking place with this narrative being set that apparently if you wear hijabs, then these students have a right of wearing saffron flags. But this is all about education at one level and the denial of education, when in fact hijabs have been worn by students in Karnataka, by girl students and women students for a very long period of time. Therefore, the question is this part of an effort at political polarization? Is this being propagated by any particular group? The violence spread earlier today. There was stone pelting which took place. You could actually see some of that in this particular video. And the larger question which is being asked, is this strictly a debate limited to what school or college rules actually have to say in terms of a dress code? Or is this an effort at political polarization at a very sensitive time, not just in Karnataka but across the country, and certainly ahead of elections? What exactly is the freedom of religion and the right of religious practices? Is the right to wear a hijab not part of a religious practice which is protected by the Constitution and protected by the Supreme Court as well, in a case dating back several decades? That is the question being asked right now. But in a situation like this in our country, where Beti Padhao is a mandate, one of the key mandates of the government, if all these girls want is to enter their class wearing a hijab, then in the name of Beti Padhao, how is that being denied? Does a dress code come ahead of Beti Padhao? Where does this all stop? Will turbans now be banned? Will Hindu girls wearing bindis now be banned? Will those students wearing a kada be banned as well? Is it that big a deal that some students dress wearing a hijab while demanding their education, which is a fundamental right? Is that a reason for them to be denied this education? Is this being triggered at some level? Will these students who are protesting from both sides listen to what the court has to say? These are key questions that remain unanswered. These are very small children at the end of the day, teenagers in some cases, or in their early 20s in other cases. The last thing anyone wants is violence and injury.
The proceedings in the High Court. So, as far as legality of the whole thing is concerned, we have put our case very clearly, constitutional and legal, Karnataka Education Act provisions. But however, we are waiting for the directions of the High Court. And outside, there has been some disturbances in few places. Therefore, I am appealing to the students that they have to maintain peace and harmony, because ultimately tomorrow they have to sit together and do all the educational activities, academic activities. Therefore, peace and harmony should be maintained. Second is, I direct the school administration to see that peace is maintained and there is no occasion for a clash of students. As well as I appeal to the teachers to see that peace is maintained in their respective institutions. Plus, I am asking all the concerned people from outside not to have a provocation statements and not to provoke the situation. It's a very sensitive issue as far as students are concerned. So, emotional, High Court has said that you will not go by emotion. So let us wait for the directions. Till such time, there has to be peace to be maintained, and I appeal everyone to keep it.
Sir, the matter was also raised in Parliament today. Now, what opposition parties are saying that through these tactics, BJP is trying to polarize or divide the country.
See, these are all the allegations. It doesn't have any grounds. See, as a ruling party in Karnataka, we have got our own responsibilities to maintain law and order, peace, and proper education has to be given to the students. Therefore, we are just going by the law. There is no question of any other things. We are. That's why we have put our stand in front of the High Court legally, and that will be scrutinized by the judiciary. And let the judiciary come out, then we will abide whatever the court says.